Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast,
where each week your hosts dive into the crossroads of faith,
culture,
and the unknown. Christ is Lord,
and the kingdom is now. We are the Saints That Serve.
And welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast with your hosts, Johnny
and Jairus. Don't do that to me again.
So we have just finished up our month. Missions Ministry Month.
We have 4 jam-packed episodes in the month of January. If you go back and listen, 4 episodes where we interviewed ministries, people in the ministries of YWAM. Help me out here.
We interviewed 6 different ministry working or previously ministry working individuals who have gone through a YWAM school and have gone on to do mission work and are still somewhat active in some form or another in local ministry today. So it's just kind of the progression of the story of their lives and how God used them in the mission field, and then how that translated over into community life and how they're living now. So really good interviews. Go and check them out. Their episodes, we've got them labeled Mission Month.
The last one was 20, so minus that, it was 16 through 20. 17 through 20? Is that how many?
Yeah, 17, 18, 19, 20.
17 through 20.
Yeah. We can count.
I couldn't. You're so much better at like promoting stuff than me.
Thank you.
You do a good job, and I'm proud of you, son.
Anyways, yeah, so make sure you go and listen to those episodes. A lot of awesome stuff. If you checked out, we put out a bonus episode on Friday where we gave some announcements on what we are going to be focusing ministry-wise on this year of 2025. So today's episode, we want to talk about what we're looking forward to in 2025.
So this is an 50% entertainment podcast. So we're going to, this episode, talk about upcoming entertainment that we are excited for in 2025, even though this episode is airing in February.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
But it's okay, because when I was doing my research for this, almost nothing came out in January, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
We'll get into it. But before we do that,
you should like,
comment,
and share the show.
That's right.
We are on Instagram, X, Threads, whatever that is.
Yeah, we still not sure exactly what that is, but we're on it.
It literally feels like Zanga. Do you remember Zanga?
Yeah.
And that's literally what it feels like.
Zanga, the thing before Facebook?
Yeah.
No, before MySpace.
Before MySpace, yep. And Facebook, and we're on MySpace. No.
We can be. If we have listeners on MySpace,
yeah,
we'll get onto the MySpace. We'll promote ourselves on MySpace. Otherwise, I'm not wasting my time on there.
Yeah.
I did that too much already in middle school.
Yeah, we're on everything that is
relevant,
regularly legal in the United States. Maybe we'll talk about that at some point.
We can get onto TikTok too.
Yeah.
So if you have TikTok, you get to keep TikTok. But if you, after the quote unquote ban, so you still can use it now, but you can't download it. So that's kind of like their thing is like right now, I guess they're circumnavigating around the ban, the law, is if you had it legally, they have to keep providing it at this point.
Yeah. Like
the service, but the actual app stores no longer carry it.
Interesting.
So that's a little bit of a semi-political talk for you.
There you go. If you have any questions for us, feel free to reach out to us through any of those platforms. You can also email us at thesaintsthatserve@gmail.com. You can reach out to us via SMS messaging. There's a link at the bottom of the description of this episode. And yeah, we would love to hear from you. If you got any feedback for us, or if you got any complaints or need any prayer for anything, we try to pray for you guys on Fridays. So obviously we'll pray for you throughout the week, but every Friday we pray for our listeners. So make sure to reach out to us. We want to hear from you. And with that, let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it. This feels weird. It's been 2 months. It's been 2 months of us not doing what, quote unquote, what we, I don't want to say normal, because what we did in the episodes in December and January were great episodes. Yeah. That feels normal. But our norm of just me and you talking about
casual
conversation and talking about media and just what the show was built for, we haven't done in 2 months.
Yeah, we literally just spent 20 minutes talking about the Fellowship of the Ring movie and the consistencies and inconsistencies in it. And maybe you guys will get to hear that in the future. But, I mean, that was what? That was a 10, 20-minute conversation?
I think so, yeah.
Just a casual.
Mm-hmm. That, like, what we built this podcast around initially was two Christians talking about nerdy stuff.
I got you. Yeah. So I've got a Bible verse for you. This is the Bible verse of the day.
Let's do it.
It's John 4:24. Says, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. And that's relevant for us because if you haven't listened to the bonus episode we released on Friday about our mission focus this year, go listen to it because we're talking about truth and we're talking about worship in that bonus content. So just pause right here, go back and listen, and then come back and catch back up on what we're doing.
That's right.
But anyways, yeah. So let's get into our very first thing. We got to get it out of the way because we said we would do it. So Tyler, this is your transition out of the intro into our first segment, which is a movie review.
All right, this is our first official movie review.
Yep.
And we've been promising this for 2 months.
Has it been 2 months?
It feels like it. No, we went and saw it in December, but we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for about 2 months now, talking about doing this review.
Yep.
So let's do it. Let's talk about the War of the Rohirrim.
The War of the Rohirrim.
For Gondor! Even though it didn't take place in Gondor.
Yeah, well, whatever.
So is this a spoiler warning for the movie?
This is a spoiler warning for the movie. If you have not seen War of the Rohirrim, skip forward. I don't know how long yet because
we haven't recorded this yet.
But I've got a couple of things. I'm not really going to dive too deep into it just because there's not really a whole lot to be said.
No. I guess just jump ahead right now. Did you enjoy the movie? It's been about a month and a half now since we've seen it.
Yeah, but I can still remember a lot about it. And to be honest, like what my expectations were and what I saw, I was not impressed.
Yeah.
If I had to rate it, I wrote a review, and if I had to rate it in a scale of 1 to 10, it'd be a 4.5.
That's rough.
Yeah, because
it's not a disappointment. It's just, it suffers from the one thing movies shouldn't be, is boring.
Yeah. So the review I put was the good things that the movie had going for it were as follows. The movie gave a reasonable explanation for the main character's combat ability. Because if you've noticed, a lot of movies that are coming out, it's just because. Yeah, it's just because I'm just good at this because I'm good at it. In the War of the Rohirrim, they make the point of like, this is a fighting people, like their lives somewhat revolve around war.
Mm-hmm.
Her personal handmaiden is a shield maiden, so she was a warrior. And so she would go about, and then the main character, you get to see her grow up to an extent, and her growing up is revolving around training in combat.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see that in the movie. It's not just, it doesn't leave it up to you to be like, hey, she's just naturally talented at being able to fight people twice her size. It does give, I think a breath of fresh air is, anime can be like, very unreasonable, and her character was not. When it came to her fighting ability. Like there were some characters that you were like, no, I can't get on board with how good they are. But
so real quick, so that those people listening fresh on this, what is Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim exactly? So story-wise, kind of give a quick summary of the story.
It's a creative piece that focuses on a point in history for a people group inside of Middle-earth called they call themselves the Rohirrim. They're the men of Rohan. So they're a group of humans, and it is a kind of a monarchical group. So there's lords and marshals and different statuses, but the main dude is a king, and they're known as a horse people. So everything that their lives revolve around horses. And so this is a story about how there's a dispute between the king at the time and a noble, and the noble ends up dying.
Which is hilarious in the movie, by the way.
Yeah. It really throws you off guard because you're like, what?
You think it's not real, like it's being faked.
Well, you thought he's supposed to be the villain. That's what you are picking up on, is that this is going to be the bad guy in the movie. And then he just dies right away.
I mean, this is a spoiler-filled review. Yeah. So the king and the guy and the lord have like a dispute, like you said, and they're like, let's take this outside. They literally say, let's take this outside, and they start fighting each other. And the king's like, okay, you get a free hit on me. And the lord punches the king, and then the king like gets his free punch in, punches him once, and kills the dude in one shot.
Yeah. Literally socks the guy in the face, and the guy falls over dead. And the king's like, get up. I just punched you once. There's no way that you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I'm waiting the whole movie for it to be revealed that he was faking his death. Never happens. The Lord really dies.
Yeah, but that's the arc, is that the main villain is the son of the king who dies.
And in that scene is like he's begging for her hand in marriage. And so now he goes to war with the Rohirrim because he is mad that his dad died and he can't get the girl.
Yeah, he can't marry the girl, and his father's murdered, in his eyes murdered. So he riles up what they call in the movie the wild men of the north of Rohan. But he amasses this large army of guys with promise of treasure. The people try to fight, and they get pushed back to the Helm's Deep.
In the movie, it's
called
Deep.
The Deep. Sorry. And then it's just about their deliverance and defeating the bad guy and getting out of Helm's Deep. So that's kind of the overall for it.
Yeah, and my complaint was, we literally, like, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, you've seen all the Lord of the Rings movies. It's literally the entire segment of the Battle of Helm's Deep and the Two Towers again.
The Two Towers, yep. Yeah, that was my thing in my review, is we talked about her ability in combat. I also like that they didn't shy away from using a variety of creatures from Middle-earth lore. So, there's the one part where they use the octopus-like creature in the pool.
Is that the same creature that is attacking them, like the same breed in Fellowship of the Ring at the entrance of Moria?
Yeah, it's the same type of creature. I don't know. I don't think it's the exact same creature, but it's the
same breed.
Yeah, same kind. There's an elephant,
which is never explained. Why it's explained and not explained at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they give like, hey, this is happening, and then they never give you closure as to why it happened.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're there. It's like, oh, there's a wild beast tamer here, and it's like, okay, but why? And it's like the elephant had rabies or something like that.
Yeah, there was like a mad disease that was sweeping through the land, and it was killing a bunch of horses. And then apparently the elephant got it and started going crazy.
It was all an excuse just to have that segment of her and her group of people fighting the elephant.
It was like a really cheap excuse to make her cousin have to leave.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it climaxes at, is like the king's like, you're supposed to keep her safe, and she almost died, so you're fired. That's literally all it does. So you never get closure about the disease, if it's still running rampant or if it was planted by something, whatever. But yeah, so they use a variety of creatures. They do have like two different types of orcs, and then kind of like a trollish creature in one scene.
I have another complaint.
Okay.
I kind of was annoyed at the very feeble attempt to connect it to the Ring story.
Well, there is like, they were alluding to future projects. They wanted to do future projects, and that was kind of alluding to it. That
Sure, but it was like the moment where there was the two. Was it orcs or goblins? I can't remember. Outside of the.
So, fun fact for everybody: they're interchangeable in the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, orcs and goblins are talking about the same creatures.
Okay, so the orc goblins.
Yeah,
they are like outside, kind of like they're going through bodies, and they're like
looking. Yeah.
And they're just like ransacking bodies that had died outside of Helm's Deep. The Helm, sorry.
No, the Deep.
The Deep, sorry. And so they're just going through the bodies like, look for the rings. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a throwaway line, but it's like, why didn't you go all the way? Like, it feels like why did you do it as a hint? Like,
well,
it was like they shouldn't have done it at all.
I mean, I didn't have an issue with that because the orcs were never made clear as to what the ring was. They were just given orders to find rings and bring them back. Because even in the books.
But this is how long before Lord of the Rings? This is like, I think it's like 500-600 years, something like that.
Yeah, there's a gap. There's a couple 100 years difference between the start of the Fellowship and
whatever
War of the Rohirrim. Yeah. But you got to remember, like, the ring has been gone for a couple 1,000 years now, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, so the things that I had a problem with is we talked about it. It relies heavily on the nostalgia of the Two Towers. Because there are some scenes that are just almost like
identical.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the biggest issue I have with it. They established some really great characters and then killed them off quickly and in poor fashion.
Like,
well, the very beginning with the bad guy, like he would have been a good bad guy.
Yeah. The Lord,
but they literally is like, oh, he got punched once by the king, who's this really big prowess, strong man. They're trying to make the point like he is above human ability when it comes to strength.
Which I have something to say about that later on.
Yeah. So, but like they killed the bad guy off with, they should have made it where it was like one punch, like knocked him out and like to add insult to injury.
And then he came back with war.
Yeah, exactly.
The son and his cockiness throughout the entire movie just was annoying more than anything.
Well, and that was the other thing is the villain. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, okay. So the sons, they paint them as these like excellent warriors.
Yeah,
excellent. But they're like picked off in very poor taste.
Okay, so one of them is like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So there's the one that gets an arrow through the neck. Like,
yeah,
just makes no sense. Like, out of nowhere, he just gets an arrow in the neck. It's not
a barrage of arrows.
It wasn't even a barrage. It was like one arrow.
Well, I thought that they were getting a barrage of arrows, and then he's the only one that gets hit. Or is it just it was?
No, it was just like they did the thing where they do in movies where they let your guard down. It's like, okay, we're getting away, we're riding off. Now let's go. And he's just standing there, and just an arrow kind of goes through his neck.
Yeah.
The other one, which is in that same sequence, the other brother gets captured. So the wild men, led by the Lord's son, after his dad gets murdered, gets the wild men, comes back and attacks Rohan.
Rohan.
And so they flee to Helm's Deep, the Deep.
Yep.
And we keep saying that for a reason. It's not called Helm's Deep at all, the entire movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's just the rest of it is them held up in Helm's Deep for the rest of the movie while they siege Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
And it's because the cocky little prince, Prince Lord, just can't let it go.
Yeah, and like they knife the other brother. Like,
right, so they bring him
in the neck, right, or something.
So they bring the other brother, they capture him while they're fleeing to Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
The king's standing there being reasonable, like, take me instead, let my son free.
Yeah.
I will give myself up. No, and he just slits his throat.
Yeah, but my frustration is the whole, like, the son gets captured, and the reason he gets captured is because the horse that he's on, it's his favorite horse, but the horse is old. And it runs out of energy. And so it has to stop. And I'm like, watching that is infuriating because it's like, okay, they had a small retinue with them upon their escape. one of those guys could have gotten off and given him the horse.
Again, like an underling. Like,
Yeah.
why is royalty riding the worst horse?
Well, he makes there's a quick little scene that gives an explanation of like, oh, I love her. She's a great horse. She may not be young or fastest horse,
But I love her.
but I love her. And you're just like, okay, I get it. But if you're going to be taken ransom,
Mhm. This is like a key moment of your kingdom. You aren't going to worry about a horse. You're going to worry about your house's lineage.
exactly. Especially since you had just seen your other brother die.
Yeah.
So you're the only one. And your dad is severely wounded at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, I don't like it. And then my other big thing was, the main villain. There's nothing about him that makes him formidable.
No.
It's just
He gets an army, and so now he's formidable.
through different scenarios of convenience, he amasses an army and then just has this unrelenting desire to kill everyone in this one family, the royal family.
Yeah, it's like they use blind anger for revenge as a plot device, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and
His motivation is, I'm angry.
Yeah, and once again, like there's nothing really that great about him, because a lot of like main villains in Lord of the Rings and different stories, like they're formidable. Like it's a serious issue that we're fighting against this individual because just of how powerful they are. Their name carries weight. And
what's this guy's name?
Yeah, I don't even remember his name. I don't remember, it's like I just remember that he was really upset about, he was really mad about everything that was going on.
My dad.
So.
Pretty much. So I want to get into this part of it. So there's this whole weird plot line too where the dad was sick and in like a coma, the king.
Yeah.
And he was sick and in a coma, and then his body disappears. And then like the opposing army is like slowly at night, people are disappearing. Right?
Yeah.
And so they have this whole weird plot device like, he's a wraith now. What's the logic to that anyways? It's just like, I don't know. It's weird. So anyways, essentially the daughter finds him and he's not a wraith.
Yeah.
The main character daughter. But he's sneaking out of a secret passage out of Helm's Deep to go slowly kill people off. And to me, I'm like, why don't you take your people and leave?
Yeah, well, that's
out of the secret passage, which is what they'd end up doing anyways.
Well, and that's the other thing is like it's almost like they're trying to give an explanation for the Lord of the Rings movies, since it is technically a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the movie, The Two Towers, Aragorn asks, is there any way for the women and children to get out of the caves? And they're like, there is a passage that leads into the mountains, but the Uruk-hai are so many. Whatever. But that's what's in The Two Towers. In this movie, it's like, okay, here's the secret passage that leads into the mountain, or leads into the caves, and these are the caves that lead out into the mountains, and that's how the people get away, or whatever. In the War of the Rohirrim, like the exit is like right above the deep. Like it doesn't go into the mountains.
Yeah.
Because he just comes out of the entrance and then literally
he kind of slides down the mountain a little bit and goes and starts killing people. Well, so the daughter finds him, right? And he's alive or whatever. And it's so weird because also the weird inconsistencies of what the physical prowess of these characters can do.
Yeah.
Was also weird because like there's a moment where he jumps like 40 feet up in the air from the ground and kills like a troll.
Yeah.
And then later on, he can't jump like even a shorter distance to get back inside Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
So anyways, so they get found out and they start storming after him and the daughter, right? They're outside of Helm's Deep at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they run to the gate and they open the door enough for her to slide through.
But he's not strong enough to
open the door.
Because the door's so frozen. He can't open it far enough for him to get in.
But again, Helm's Deep's like entrance way. Again, he could have jumped it. He has all this strength, so it just doesn't make any sense. So if they do it, have an excuse for him to battle all these guys running after him at the entrance.
Which none of them kill him.
It's like the cold gets him, right?
He freezes in place.
Right.
That's how he dies. It gets so cold that as he's fighting, he freezes
and dies that way.
In fighting position.
Right, because the story is he never bent in the knee and he never lost and hit the ground.
He never lost I don't know about that part. But
the whole point is he never fell.
Yeah.
But what's so stupid in that shot is the inconsistencies of it shows him up close. He's holding a hammer. It cuts to a wide shot. He doesn't have his hammer in his hand. It goes to another shot. The hammer is in the other hand. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, that was the one moment that really irritated me the most is like where just like each shot was something different. It's so annoying. But with that being said, that's the end of my annoyances.
Yeah. So I guess, do you have anything else to say about it though?
I was going to say animation on this movie is top notch.
Yeah, it is really good.
It's some really great animation. Yeah. Like it's beautifully done and it's not overly, like you said, falling into the tropes of anime.
Yeah.
It is Lord of the Rings in an anime art style.
Yeah.
So it looks beautiful. We went and saw it on the big screen.
Yep.
It was visually stunning.
Yeah. Visually stunning.
The art, like the animation and the flow to it and the battles.
Yeah.
Are top notch animated.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. The animation was really good. Like I said, I did like the variety of creatures they decided to put in the movie. And then I just got to come back around to it because it's refreshing. Like they created a female character who does have combat ability, but they did it in a feminine way. They didn't try to like take the typical man or male arc and slap it on a female character.
They made it make sense for her character.
Exactly.
A very huge plus, and especially in the day and age we live in, where the way we get movies right now.
Exactly. So I almost get disconnected from a movie when they try to make a female character a man in a woman's body, and it just doesn't engulf me in the story. I get distracted by that. But when you take a feminine character and you make her feminine, but you give her story as to how she got to where she's at, and it makes sense, then it's like, okay, I can get behind this.
And even with the final fight with the prince, you know what I mean? Like, he's not a weak fighter, but she used his weight against him type situation. You know what I mean? The whole fighting made sense, even in the fights that he had the physical upper hand on her in it.
Yeah, but they make the point where he's not he can fight. He's not the best of fighters, and he's just so caught up in his rage. He's defeated because of that. Like, he's so caught up in vengeance that she's able to use her nobility.
What I compared it to the whole time was this movie is literally Lord of the Rings anime of the movie Brave. If you've seen the movie Brave, you don't have to watch this movie.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Yeah.
Redhead, main character and everything.
Who doesn't want to get married.
Who doesn't want to get married. And it starts a family feud or a clan's feud.
There we go.
And it ends up with her not getting married and I'm my own woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Riding off with the eagles.
That's true. That does happen.
Which, there's a whole subplot with the Middle Earth eagle. Well, eagle. I was going to say eagles, but there's just one eagle.
Yes.
Which is not even worth going into because, it didn't. They keep going into, how she's wild and needs the wild lands. And she doesn't need to be held down by marriage. Just like Brave.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much all I've got about it. I would score it a little bit higher just because how impressed I was with the animation art and the direction with the animation.
So what would you score it at?
Like a 6.8.
Wow.
No. I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
Just because that animation was really good. But again, the movie as a whole isn't bad. It's not a bad story. It's not a bad telling of this story. It's just the two faults on it is we've seen it before with the Two Towers. And just overall, it's just between the action.
Yeah.
There's a long lulls between the action.
Yeah. I rated it so low because of my personal anticipations of it were set really high.
Yeah.
And then we actually watched it and I was like, well,
Yeah.
This is not what I was expecting.
It was a slow movie.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, that's true. It was pretty slow. So yeah, if you watched The War of the Rohirrim, we would like to hear what your thoughts were.
Please tell us if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right.
If you think we're in the middle.
Middle Earth. We went in two different directions with this joke.
Hey, don't write yourself off yet. All right.
My joke was funnier, by the way.
Yours was, yeah.
So anyways.
Are we ready to move on to our next one?
I think so.
All right, Tyler, this is your transition. We are moving into what we're looking forward to for 2025.
2025. So on my way here, I called John and I'm like, guess what, bud? I'm actually prepared. So something with me is just with my work and my job, and then also just focusing on editing the episodes. I almost never have the opportunity or time to prepare anything for an episode. I just usually go in blind and it always works out. But I actually did my research this time and looked up movies and just compiled my side of the list of things.
Beautiful.
So yeah, we're going to talk about, again, movies that we're excited for going into 2025. Where do you want to start?
Yep. Let's, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You got to lean into your computer.
Yeah, I got to lean in. Let's start with your top 5. What are your top 5 movies?
I didn't do a top 5.
Oh, okay.
I did just kind of release, I did a...
How many movies are you looking forward? How many movies do you have?
Oh, quite a bit, actually. So I have it listed as I thought we'd go through each month.
Okay. What movie are you looking forward to for February?
Let's talk about January first.
Okay, January.
So I put on here, because we're about to be in February.
This episode will come out in February.
But for me, I put Wolfman and Dogman as my 2 January movies.
Dogman the cartoon.
Yeah, I actually think it looks pretty decent. I really like how it's animated.
Yeah.
Like that kind of weird claymation mixed in with CG. I think it looks...
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Kind of style. It's actually... You're not Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but it's by the same author who did Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
So...
That's what I was thinking of. You're right. Yeah.
I probably won't go to theaters to watch it, but if it's on and I don't have anything to watch, I'll watch it. But for talking towards the audience, I think it is something worth going to go see.
Yeah. When I first heard that they were coming out with a Dogman movie, I was like, what? Because it's that's a very specific niche of people that are in the Dogman scene.
Like children?
No, it is the conspiracy group that are all about the Dogman. But it's a cartoon.
Yes. So it's about a cop and a dog who both were in an accident, and so they merged their bodies together. Now he's part cop and part...
The mind of a cop with the body of a dog. Yeah.
So. It's really... I think it'll be funny and pretty appropriate for children.
Yeah. But that's what I was getting at, is that it is a kid's movie, and when you hear what we just said, what it's about, it's very much a kid's movie. But when I heard the title Dogman, I was like, that's not going to make any money because only the conspiracy theorists will go and see it. Yeah.
So then also for January, I have Wolfman, which I should take off my list because everything after I put it on my list, I've heard about it, it's doo-doo garbage.
Oh, really?
It's really bad. It's part of the Universal Monsters universe. That's Wolfman.
Yeah.
So, a werewolf, whatnot, Frankenstein.
I thought that they kind of discontinued that they weren't.
No, this was supposed to be continuing after because they did Invisible Man. Yeah. So what you're thinking of is where they started with The Mummy.
Yeah.
With Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That ended. They ruined that.
Okay.
So they tried again with a more modern take on each story, and they started with The Invisible Man.
Okay.
That movie is very good.
Okay.
And so this is the next one where instead of trying to connect them all in a universe, it's let's just make more movies again.
Yeah.
That with their condensed story. So they did The Invisible Man, and it was a modern take of him. He's invisible because he has this suit that he invented that makes him invisible.
Okay.
And so that was very good. And now apparently this is very bad. So, but I'm not going to bother with that too much, but just that was on my list. I was excited for, and probably watch it eventually.
Okay.
But, okay, so for you, what about your January?
I don't have them listed that way.
Oh,
I just have my top 5. So I don't know when the release dates actually are.
Okay, well, so give us your top 5 and I'll tell you if they're on mine.
Okay.
Start with 5.
Tron Ares.
Tron Ares. So I have that on my list, and that comes out in October.
I know next to nothing about it. I know that it has...
Jared Leto.
Yeah, thank you.
It is a continuation from when they did Tron...
Legacy,
thank you.
Yeah.
And it has none of the characters in it, so it's like, how is that a sequel? I'm still excited. I really liked the original Tron.
Uh-huh.
Even though, like, that is some great of the time visuals.
Yeah.
That look so bad now.
Yeah.
But that movie is very good.
Well, the frustrating thing with Tron is that they did the movie. I thought it was a good movie, but apparently it didn't do well. And
You're talking about the old one?
Legacy, yeah, Tron Legacy.
No, I'm talking about Tron. The first Tron movie.
Oh, I'm talking about Tron Legacy.
I'm talking about Tron.
Okay.
Tron Legacy is a sequel to Tron.
Okay.
So, yeah, it came out in the 70s.
Okay, so after Tron Legacy, I haven't seen the original Tron.
We should sit down sometime and watch it. It is very good.
Okay, so Tron Legacy comes out. It does okay. And then they launched a kids' Tron TV show.
I remember that.
It was animated. The story was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, for a kids' TV series, you're like, this story is killer. Had Elijah Wood voice the main character.
Nice.
And they discontinued the show because the focus group ended up becoming
adults.
Yeah. Adult males. And so they're like, this is a kid's show. We're not reaching our target audience. We're discontinuing it.
Or some would say canceled.
Canceled. Yep. So, okay. So that was number 5, Tron Ares. I know next to nothing about it except.
I want to say this. Tron Legacy did later on get a huge cult following. You're right. It did poorly in theaters.
Yeah.
And now it's like a huge beloved movie.
Yeah.
Worst thing about that movie is, what's his name? Who's the main character in that? I'm blanking on his name. The father in that, the actor.
The Big Lebowski?
Yeah. No.
No, it's not the Big Lebowski.
So they have like his normal old person, and then they have like a CG youngified version of him. And that CG in that movie for him de-aging is very bad.
Yeah. No, it is Lebowski. The Big Lebowski.
Oh, you're right. The dude. What is his name, though?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, thank you. The reason why he's in that is because he is the main character in the first movie. He's in the first Tron movie.
I did not know that. I started watching a show that he's in, Old Man. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm. Is he playing old man?
Yeah, he does. He plays an old CIA operative.
Gotcha.
It was it's pretty good. I didn't finish the series. I just watched a couple episodes, but it also has the sister from Spy Kids.
Oh, what's her name?
I got to pull it up now and try and...
Whatever. Let's move on. What's your number 4?
Aliyah Shawkat. That's her name.
Gotcha. Is that your number 4?
No. That's the 4th movie I want to watch. Minecraft with Jason Momoa and Jack Black.
So be excited. That comes out in April. That's also on my list here.
Ooh, but I have reservations because people have already started downplaying it. They're like, it doesn't look good. It's going to be crappy. And so
in the early trailers, there are visual effects that are there. Now, this could just be because they give like a lot. What they do is for trailers, they'll give companies that make the trailer early footage to build out the trailer, even though the movie's not fully done with its effects.
Yeah.
And the CG and whatnot. So in the trailer, there's a few parts where you can see the glow of the green screen behind the actors. Because most of that movie takes place in kind of like a, alternate world. And
all of it is. Everything except the main character actors.
Everything is CG.
Yeah.
So in the early footage, you can see the green screen glow. So when they shine a light on the green screen, it's coming back, the light behind the actors. That's early footage. So it could either be really bad the whole movie, or it could be really good. But at the end of the day, if the visuals are bad, that doesn't necessarily mean the movie is bad.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, It looks pretty decent. I'm not going to be like super nerded out about it. I'm just going to go and see how it is and see how it goes.
My fear of the movie is that they're going to take something that is meant for children and throw in a lot of what I refer to as dirty jokes. Like, let's throw them under real quick so they'll go over the kids' heads. But the adults there to watch them will get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my one concern, but...
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
You said you're not going to take your kids to see it until you vet it, right?
I think we're going to let it come out, and then we'll read like the parent reviews and stuff on it.
Gotcha.
And kind of make that decision. Bigfoot doesn't do well in theaters for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time we took him to a movie, we bought the ticket and everything. He did not want to sit in there at all.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was just too much sensory was going on. Sensory overload, so he had to leave. So,
have you seen those theaters that's like it's good for sensitive sensory children, where it's like it's a playground in the front and they can just kind of run around, and it's a movie theater?
I have not seen that. I have seen where movie theaters will do low sensory showings, so it's like lights are on, the volume's turned down a little bit. They only have certain rows open, so you're further back from the screen, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I've seen that, but I haven't seen like it's an entire...
So it's like the whole theater's built, there's a playground built into the theater, kind of like if you're in a Chuck E. Cheese and the tubes are on the wall and that kind of stuff. So if the kid gets bored, they can get up and go play.
Gotcha. No, I have not seen that. That sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. What's your number 3?
Lilo and Stitch live action.
That is on my list as well, and that comes out in May.
I don't have anything else to say about it other than I liked Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon, and I have, as everyone knows, a history with Hawaii. So,
first off, I am optimistic about this movie.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, because as of the recording of this episode, there is no real trailer for this movie.
Yeah. No.
It comes out in a couple of months at this point. No trailer showing off the actual movie. They're doing the whole. So this is what gets me excited. The guy who is this is a live action Lilo and Stitch remake of the original.
Yep.
Was made by the original creator of Lilo and Stitch.
The movie is
the live action is the same director who did the cartoon.
Okay, then it'll be good.
And so
because he's the same guy who did How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Which is number one.
Which number one
is live action How to Train Your Dragon.
They are following the same promotion pattern that they did for the original cartoon. There was never really any real trailer for that movie.
Yeah.
It was just Stitch being Stitch in other Disney movies. Like they would make you think it was a trailer for Beauty and the Beast, and then Stitch is running up the wall.
Yeah.
Or which doesn't make sense, by the way, if you've seen Lilo and Stitch, that he can't swim, but he's underwater with the Little Mermaid, and it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they're following the same ad campaign of they're just showing Stitch being Stitch.
Yeah.
Like the only two I've seen though is him like on the beach breaking the Disney castle, and the other one is when they were promoting Mufasa.
Well, I know with the original Lilo and Stitch, they built that movie on with their own money and their own time, the two producers.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was self-funded, and they did it in secret because I think the studio wasn't going to take it on. So they did it because they believed in it that much. And so like they talked about the different ways that they saved money by doing like certain, art designs and like still framing for certain things and stuff like that. So I wonder if the advertising played into that at all, where it's like, hey, we don't really have any money for advertising, so let's just take an already shot animation from Disney and just slap Stitch into it. You know? I don't know, maybe.
Did you know, fun fact, that is the first movie me and you went and saw together?
It is. Dude, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, because you called me up and you're like, hey, my sister, because your sister worked at the movie theater, so she got free movie tickets.
Yep.
So it was me, you, and like 3 of your siblings all went and saw Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, that was a fun time.
You said number 1 was How to Train Your Dragon?
Mm-hmm.
That is coming out in June. That's also on my list. That is the one movie trailer I've seen this year, or just being promoted, that's got me emotional for a movie. Just because that song in that movie, that like riling up song, is so good.
Yeah, and it looks like they are trying to stay true to the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as the shots and the story and
the casting is done well.
And the script and stuff.
So you jumped the gun. What's your number 2?
I just put this out there because, I liked the first one. I thought it was great. The second one was decent. I know nothing about the third one, and I don't know when it's coming out. I just saw that it's supposed to come out this year, Avatar 3.
Yeah, that's on here. That's December.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on my list as well.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen the second?
I've seen the second one, but I'm saying Avatar 3, I haven't seen any commercials for it.
Neither have I. I don't think there's we haven't got into the campaign for it yet.
I think that they're going to go to fire. So
yeah, because the movie's called Fire and Ash. Yeah. Avatar Fire and Ash.
Yeah. So it's not Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it is Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
at this point, yeah. Because the first one was...
They lived up in a tree. They were free-spirited.
So that was
like
air.
The air. And they went to the water people, and they did stuff in the water. Now they're going to the fire people. So all they got left is rocks.
This is really going to be the one that tests whether or not what they're trying to do with this series is going to be good. Because the gap between the first one and the second one was so large that they could kind of do whatever they want and it would work.
Yeah.
And so, because this one's so close to the second one, it's only been like a year or two. Yeah. This is really going to be the test of, do they actually have something going of making a franchise out of this?
Yeah.
Or are they just trying to make more money? And they're banking on that the first and second one made a lot of money.
You know what I didn't get with the second one?
What's that?
Because Jake Sully has kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a American Marine.
Hoorah.
Very straightforward kind of guy. No nonsense dude. Soldier.
Yeah.
His wife is a priestess.
Warrior
princess.
Mm-hmm.
First Nations kind of vibe. Like she is an indigenous individual. And their kids have the mannerisms of inner city kids. Make that make sense to me.
Right.
It doesn't. It doesn't make their mannerisms.
You would think that the father would speak the language of the planet to their kids. Like they shouldn't even know any English at all. I think the excuse of that was that there were still some Earth scientists on Pandora.
Yeah, there's still some scientists and a kid who ended up growing up and
yeah.
But all that aside, like the way that they talked, there's no explanation for the mannerisms, the verbiage, and the attitude that they had. There's no explanation for it. They just have it because they're trying to be more. I don't know why they have it, but it kind of took away from the experience of the second one for me because it's totally out of place. Like it doesn't fit in. It's not like they're coming from a inner city environment to a rural area.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Whatever.
So, those are your movies?
Those are my movies.
So, I'm going to run through my list. I'm going to go through month, and maybe you'll learn about some movies that you didn't have interest in before.
There is one movie I saw that's supposed to come out this year. It's Predator Badlands.
That's also on my list.
When I looked it up, there's nothing about it.
No, it's just by name.
They're still wrapping up the story.
But
and you're like, wait a minute, what? They're wrapping up the story, but it's coming out this year?
Sure.
So
Prey. Have you seen Prey?
I've seen some of it. I need to finish it.
That movie was so good that I just like, do whatever you want with Predator. It's going to be good at this point.
Now, because on the cover it has Arnold's image.
It's probably just like a temporary photo.
Okay.
He's probably, it'd be cool if he was in it, but.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, does he make a
cameo?
Maybe.
We'll see. So.
Come on, do it.
Do it, Dylan. Dylan, you son of a gun.
Dylan. Oh, Dylan. Yeah.
So.
Anyways. Okay, go ahead.
So for February, I have So this one is going to be, it's the first full motion picture Looney Tunes movie that's strictly a cartoon ever.
Oh.
It's called The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. That comes out in February. It's going to be on HBO Max. They've been talking about putting out this movie for a while.
Yeah.
But it's like, essentially, it's just Daffy Duck and Porky Pig dealing with a space alien invasion.
Interesting.
So that looks really good.
Side note on that. Which one do you like better? Looney Tunes Space Jam, the original one, or Looney Tunes Back in Action?
So I've never seen Back in Action.
You haven't?
No, but so Space Jam.
Okay. I mean, yeah, Space Jam is really good. But Brendan Fraser, he's pretty good in Back in Action.
It's just one of those things that went past me. I think it was like,
You just need to watch it.
I just need to watch it.
You just need to watch it.
I still haven't watched. We talked about it last week.
It's Treasure Island.
I still haven't watched it.
Dude, buckle down. There's no excuse.
You're right.
You have full access to
By
it.
next week's episode, I will have watched it.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Okay. So also on my list, I have Captain America: Brave New World.
Okay.
Which is Captain America 4, or if you want to,
or Indiana Jones 7.
True. Hey, I'm already going to say, after seeing Dial of Destiny,
I guess it would be Indiana Jones 6, right? 6.
5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever.
Well, because it was, let's count them down now.
You have the original 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Crystal Skull, Dial of Destiny, so this would be 6.
Yeah, it would be 6, yeah.
Dial of Destiny is doo-doo garbage.
Yeah, we didn't even finish watching it.
Yeah, so bad.
But, so
Brave New World, I'm excited because I really like Captain America movies.
And Indiana Jones movies.
I'm not going to count that.
Okay.
So for March, I have Mickey 17, which is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I've seen the commercial for that.
And it's made by the movie is made by the same guy who made Parasite.
It looks interesting. I'll say.
So I've got it on my list of I'll probably go see it and see if it's any good.
Okay.
I have on here as not what I'm interested in, but we can get into it. Snow White comes out.
Oh
March.
Boy.
Talking about Disney remakes, they should remake this right into the ground. Everything around this movie. So if anybody out there listening is thinking about going and seeing Snow White, just based on principle, don't go see this movie.
Why not yours?
Just all the weird stuff around it, the productions of it, and just the oddities of woke Hollywood. Out of principle, let's not go see this movie together.
Yeah, I think that Rachel Zegler, that's the actress who's playing Snow White, I think she kind of shot the movie in the foot by just the way that she promoted it.
Yeah.
So
just out of principle, let's not go see that.
Okay.
But in April, like you said, a Minecraft movie.
Minecraft.
So that looks decent. I also have on here for May, the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts.
Are you aware of what the Thunderbolts is?
No idea what that is.
That is the Marvel team-up movie that they have been, hinting towards.
Oh, no. I do know. Okay, I don't know why I said that, because that's an honorable mention I have in here. Thunderbolts, and then another one is Jurassic World Rebirth. So, yeah, Thunderbolts looks like it will be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're only a quarter through all this, so let's speed things up. And I'll just I'll start going through the list and then stop me if you feel like there's something that's worth talking about.
Okay.
So again, May Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Okay.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yep.
Karate Kid Legends.
Okay. Yep. I've seen that. Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Then in June, which I think is going to be the best month.
Okay.
And I've got on there From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Ballerina?
It is about the ballerinas that...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That John Wick was in with.
Yeah.
It's like about one of them.
Okay.
Becoming an assassin.
Gotcha.
It's a spin-off movie.
Yeah.
I have in here Elio, which is the new Pixar movie. I have it in red because I'm like, Pixar hasn't really put out a good non-woke movie in a while.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that movie.
It's like this kid wants to be abducted by aliens, and then he does, and he goes to space. It's just like, I can't give up on Pixar.
So like Jimmy Neutron?
Jimmy Neutron was nothing like that. Somebody needs to watch Jimmy Neutron.
They get abducted. Well, the parents get abducted, and then they try to get abducted so they can get the parents back.
No, they build spaceships and go after the parents.
That's right. They build the spaceships.
So, but yeah, Elio, he's just like wants to be adopted and interact with aliens. It looks decent, but I'm just like, what are they going to do to mess it up? But
what are they going to do to mess it up?
Probably something. But then I have How to Train Your Dragon. So that looks, again, that's probably my number 2.
Yeah.
What I'm excited for. Then I have 28 Years Later, which is a zombie movie.
Okay.
Did you ever see the other 2?
I saw 28 Days Later, but I don't think I saw 28 Weeks Later.
I bring that one up solely for the fact, do you know what's special about the production of that movie, 28 Years Later?
Is it 28 Years Later?
Yes, that's the name of the movie. No, it's not 28 Years Later. They filmed the entire movie on iPhone 15s.
What?
Yeah, the whole movie was filmed with iPhones.
Huh.
So we'll see how that goes. Then Megan 2.0.
Megan 2.0.
It's about, did you see Megan?
No.
It was like an android this woman built to take
care.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, then I won't go into it. But yeah, 2.0, Megan 2 comes out in June. So kind of excited for that. July, probably going to be my favorite month.
Okay.
So Jurassic World Rebirth, Fantastic Four First Steps.
I saw that, yep.
And then my number 1 movie I'm excited for, Superman. Man, like every time I see a new anything for that movie, it's just like, I'm so excited for James Gunn's universe.
Who is acting Superman?
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
So we'll have to get back on that.
So he's a new guy?
He is a known actor. I just don't know his name off the top of my head.
I'm looking it up right now.
Do it.
Do it.
So for me,
come on, do it.
So for me, I've got in August, Bad Guys 2 and Nobody 2.
Okay. Yep.
So did you ever see Bad Guys, the DreamWorks movie?
The boys do like that.
That movie is quite good. And then have you seen Nobody with Bob Odenkirk?
No.
It is essentially the same plot as John Wick, and it's still good. It's like this washed up, like John Wick type guy, and these people break into his house, and it brings them back into the game.
Interesting.
You need to actually plan one day to come over and watch Nobody over at my house.
Okay.
Me and Ashley watched it recently.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forgot how good Nobody is.
Okay, so here's something to hurt your feelings.
What?
So the actor for Superman is David Corenswet.
Corenswet.
He was born in 1993.
Superman's younger than me?
Yeah. He is a little baby compared to us.
Gross.
Not really. We're in the ballpark with that age.
So anyways, October, I got nothing for September. October, Tron, we talked about that.
Tron.
And then for me, being the video game nerd, Mortal Kombat 2 comes out in October.
Saw that.
I'm so excited. I really liked that first movie.
I liked it. Well, okay, let me put it this way. I still don't know how I feel about it. And it came out 2 years ago?
Oh, no. The first Mortal Kombat remake came out in 2019, maybe?
Okay.
2020?
So pre-COVID? The change.
I think it was during COVID. So it was 2020.
2021.
I was close. Man,
right,
this has been a long 4 years.
I'm telling you, dude, 2020, when everything rolled out, now everything has changed. Our sense of time has changed. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, so Mortal Kombat 2021, I will stand on, I thought it was good.
Good.
We'll see how the second one goes.
Yeah, right. So now rolling into November, Predator Badlands is in there.
Yep.
Zootopia 2.
Zootopia, I saw that. Zootopia 2.
Now You See Me 3.
I don't know anything about that one.
Really? Have you never seen Now You See Me 1 or 2?
No.
It's like stage magicians pulling heists. It's got Jesse Eisenberg and what's his name?
I think I've seen that before, actually. Yeah.
It's got I'm blanking on all these names. It's the brother of James Franco, Danny Franco, Jesse Eisenberg, and what's the guy from Zombieland?
I know who you're talking about.
The
I can't think of his name though.
The guy who wanted Twinkies.
Yeah.
He's in that. Like they're all like pulling heists as magicians.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's in it.
I've seen that.
Morgan Freeman.
The first one. I've seen the first one.
It's Daniel Radcliffe's in the second one.
Yeah. All right, keep going. What's December?
And then Avatar: Fire and Ash is what I got for December. That and Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but
there's apparently for some point this year a Aang movie coming out.
Yeah, I forgot about
A
that.
continuation of their story
When they're adults.
Yeah.
I forgot that they were talking about doing that.
It's allegedly coming out this year, but there's nothing about it. So,
but yeah, that's what I've got for 2025.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to more content being dropped this year by DLN.
DLN. He's got another song coming out really soon if it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's dropped yet,
but hey, I'll promote it now. Fix Us by Dylan is coming out on all streaming platforms.
And if you want to listen to it before then, it's on our podcast.
Yeah, we did a little bit of a sneaky world premiere of that song, so it has been listenable for quite some time.
Yep.
On the Saints That Serve podcast.
If you want to go listen to it, you can do that right now. I don't remember which episode it is, but alrighty. I think we should call it a wraps.
Are we going to wrap it, or we don't want to play our little game?
We can play our little game. Do you want to play our little game? I've got two for you.
I'll do two. Okay. I'll pick my two good ones. So hey Tyler, we're transitioning out of the 2025 summary, and we are now transitioning into Thumb. And anybody new to the show, that is Facebook Marketplace Madness.
That's right. A little mini game where we click on things that are on for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and the other individual has to guess what it's going for.
That's right. And I got really excited for this because I actually, again, prepped and found a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I've been if I see something silly on Facebook Marketplace, I favorite it.
Okay.
And I go back to it. I had like 10. And because if an item is removed,
yeah,
it disappears. So I'm down to 4.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them's not even worth it. So I'll let you go first.
Okay. All right. So this is a Ford horseless carriage.
Like the vehicle company?
The vehicle company Ford. It is mobile. So it's drivable. So that stick and everything is for.
So there's a motor on there.
There's a motor and everything. So this is a drivable carriage, but it has no horse.
I tell you right now, if that's under $100, we're contacting somebody.
What do you think it's going for? Right
I want it to be under 100. I want this so bad. I'm going to say they're probably selling it for $1,500.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah.
It's $1,500. I don't know how you did that, but is that on your list? Is that
no? That's the first time I've ever seen that. That was just a good guess.
$1,500 for a rebuilt Ford horseless carriage.
Let's be honest. For any kind of motor vehicle, especially with something like that, so weird and niche. So for those listening at home, it's like, like what looks like a buggy on a horse-drawn buggy with like a little canopy on it and everything. Except it's motorized.
Yeah, it's got a little motor underneath it, and it's got 3 wheels.
I'm looking at this picture, and I'm trying to figure out how in the world is this thing steerable? Is it just that stick that you just move back and forth?
It's the stick. It rotates the
wheels.
The cylinder here. And then there's handles right here to crank it up to start it, get it going. So, And there's a little brake pedal down there.
So I've got for you... So stupid. And this is sold, by the way, at this point.
Okay.
A dozen red roses.
A dozen red roses.
It is, I'll finish the title now. A dozen red roses Betty White cutouts. Because her character in that show,
Yeah.
The Golden Girls,
Yeah.
her name was Rose.
Yeah.
So it's 12 cardboard cutouts of Betty White.
Okay. I'm going to go, I don't know. It can't be that expensive. So I'm going to go with like $20.
50.
$50?
It sold, the listing price was 70 and it sold at 50.
Oh my gosh. Unreal. Okay. Here's my second one.
Okay.
Okay. This is a sculpted, painted Joker.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It is, yeah. So this is the Heath Ledger.
So I want to say, looking at this image, currently, just by looking at it, right? Everything looks pretty top notch there.
Yeah.
Except his faces and smile is so off.
Yep. It almost looks like a wax figure that they kind of botched up on the smile.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it is 2 feet tall.
2 feet tall?
Yes. So that's the figurine.
I am going to say that costs.
And it's got, for those who cannot see, because this is listening, it's just the Joker. He's got a Uzi-like gun in one hand and a card in the other.
A Joker card.
A Joker card, and he's standing on a pile of cash that's on top of like broken box area with a bank robber clown mask.
Mm-hmm. And if you go up, you can actually kind of see the side of it because it's next to a window.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that is $450.
$450?
Yeah.
It is
If you're good at what you're doing here, did you lose the?
Did I lose it? Did I lose it? Here, let's do this. Control Z. It is $1,000.
Oh wow.
1,000 smackaroonies.
I wouldn't pay $450 for that.
Okay.
So I've got mine.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cowboy boot skates. So that, I mean, I don't have to describe it. Literally the title of it is describing exactly what you see. It is skates, like roller skates.
Mm-hmm.
And the shoe for the roller skate is a cowboy boot.
I'm going to go with, I don't know, $120.
You're pretty close. $150.
Really?
Yep.
For both skates?
It says skates on it. So the description is size 10 black cow skin.
Maybe I need to buy those.
Your size 10 shoes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty normal.
Hey, if anybody wants to send in some shoes, John wears size 10. So you said you only had 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one more.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to read a portion of this, and then I'll read the end after we stew in it for a second.
Okay.
All right. So it is a Star Wars vintage Han Solo action figure 1977. That is not the full description.
Star Wars Han Solo vintage 1977.
Star Wars vintage Han Solo action figure 1977. And the description of it is the title. So tell me, so do you want to guess?
I'm going to say they're going for something outlandish. Maybe like $700.
So we're going to change this up a little bit.
Okay.
All right. It's $15.
Okay.
What about it is going to make this $15?
It's out of the wrapper.
It is out of the wrapper, yes.
And it's got some paint worn off on it.
Yes. Looking at the image, there is some paint on his knuckles worn off a little bit.
Okay. What makes it $15?
Let me read the full title.
Okay.
And then I'll show you the image at the same time. It is the Star Wars vintage Han Solo action figure 1977 missing head.
Yep, that'll do it. That'll make it pretty worthless.
Why is it missing its head? If you look at the image, it's like there's a burn mark around the hole where the head should be. Somebody like heated up a knife and just sliced through this thing's head.
That's ridiculous. All right, well, that has been so yeah, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in to our podcast.
You know, we didn't actually say this is episode 21. This has been episode 21 of the Saints That Serve podcast.
This has been episode 21.
We were so eager to jump back into this that we forgot to even give you an episode number.
We forgot to let you know where we're at. But if you liked episode 21, you're going to like the other 20 episodes. So go back and listen to them and all the bonus content.
And if you have done that already, go back and do it again.
There you go. Or go and comment and share them. Because we need you guys. We love you.
We need you so much.
All right. Well, this has been our podcast, episode 21.
Of the Saints That Serve podcast.
Saints That Serve podcast. Christ is Lord.
And the kingdom is now.
We are
the Saints That Serve. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Why are you pooping so much?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Poop, poop, poop.
I'm letting you know how many turds I'm dropping. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.
I was going to say, just sing Mario. This is how many poops I got. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.